do squatters in West London, video makers in Brazil, and women street vendors in India have in common? The answer is that they're all making their own media. Thanks to the latest technology in music and video, sophisticated equipment, which until recently was only available to the rich or the professional, is now within reach of almost anyone. Tonight's media show goes from South Africa to Sri Lanka. In parts of Britain's cities, the increasing availability and relative cheapness of Japanese technology, like computers, samplers, and digital audio tape, or DAT, has spawned a new independent music culture. As well as creating problems about noise level between neighbours, do-it-yourself music has presented the biggest challenge to the major record companies since punk. In this week's Top 20, more than half the hits are independently made dance records.
It's worse than 79, the disco boom was 79, when there were so many records you didn't know what to do with them. Now it's the same, but worse. I never ever thought it could be worse than 79, but it is, because everyone's having a go.
The cost of making hit records has never been lower. The equipment in this bedroom in High Wycombe, including a computer, sampler, keyboards and cassette deck, costs about £2,000.
You just need a rapper, a DJ and a producer, basically, or the two of you could do it by yourselves.
Once we've got an idea we really like, we work on it for about 2 weeks, then we get it put onto DAT. We either hire a DAT or borrow a DAT of somebody we know. Then we take it to the pressing plant.
The rough track, often on an ordinary cassette tape, is taken to a studio like Jar Tubby's in North London, where it's master mixed to create the final version of the record. The total cost of producing a lacquer or a template for a 12-inch single is under £200.
We cater for anything what comes through the door which we think is good, you know, and even if it ain't good, if the person's paying for his job, we'll do our best to help him out the best way we can.
A few miles east of Jar Tubby's is Vinyl Cuts, a cottage pressing plant. They'll press you 500 records at only 55p each.
You get a lot of, obviously at the moment it's like young people, a lot of DJs seem to be wanting to make records now, or they're a DJ, they want to be a DJ. And then you get older people who fancy a little stab at it. All sorts, really, it could be anyone.
I think if someone's got a bit of sass and they think they've got something that's really seriously hot, they'll take it to a major. Because if it's that hot, they'll need big clout early on.
The problem for the talent or A&R departments of major record companies is that a lot of the independent musicians and street crews just aren't interested.
The amount of times I've been into a record company's office, playing them a demo tape, and the guy's been nodding his head out of time with the music. I mean, boy, most of them A&R men don't know jack shit about music anyway.
When you bring it to a major, they're always trying to change your sound or get it commercialised. And we felt that we wanted our records to be rough, so we thought we'd do it ourselves, and so are a lot of people.
There's a lot of people who are satisfied to leave their music underground. Make a little penny here, make a little penny there, but they're not looking for the success too much. They just want to get their music out on the street and get a minority of people liking what they're doing.
The mafia which run A&R in this country are like all white. I think, say out of the sort of top 20 executives, I think 10 of them come from Gravesend. I mean, that just shows like it's all friends of friends. It's just like a little network, a little syndication business. And boy, don't try and release street music if you're not part of that scene.
To get a record into the chart, everyone's really got to be pulling their weight and pushing it all the way through TV appearances, radio play, everything. It just isn't in the lap of the gods now. You can't just float one out and hope that it happens.
But the tragedy for the major labels is that people can and do achieve chart success without their help. It's no longer necessary to have a deal in order to have a hit. KLF got Doctor in the TARDIS to #1 before anyone even knew what they looked like.
So when we came along with that record, which we knew stood a really good chance of being a #1 type record. There was no point in putting it out through a major because we knew we had the machinery there just between the two of us to get it to #1.
There's nothing a major could really offer us that we can't do for ourselves in this country.
They'd have never let us put it out in the first place because when we first recorded, we did it within like 15 minutes. We had the basis of the track there and we had it completed within a couple of hours. And we had to put it out within a month. And, you know, no major company would have ever let us put that record out that was just basically a riff with no proper drums or anything in it.
KLF followed Doctor in the TARDIS with another top 10 hit, What Time Is Love. They worked the record through an alternative distribution network of clubs, specialist record shops, and crucially, pirate radio stations.
If you want to get out there, you have to like develop it yourself. You have to just do it yourself, and that's like how it's been with like pirate radio, because there was no like legal stations playing the music people wanted to play on radio and hear on radio.
Station, the sound of DNA, La Serenissima.
Yeah, you can set, I mean, you can set a studio. A lot of people in their bedroom could, if they went out and got a rig from an engineer that does it, they could then sort of literally convert their bedroom into a radio station.
Old type Mr. Hilton, old type Mr. Ashley, old type.
We're dealing with the community. We've got ghetto vibes, it's a ghetto community we're dealing to. And if you so request a record and we've got it, we'll play it for you. It doesn't matter that, you know, John Brown round the corner made it or your next door neighbour sings it. That's quite irrelevant. If that's what you want to hear, we're a community station and we're here to serve you as the community.
Come down to the station house.
And if you don't mind not getting rich, you don't need a hit in this business to cover your costs. After you've sent out 500 promotional copies to clubs and DJs, you only need to sell another 300 in the shops to break even.
Once we've established which record shops we're going to go to, we set out, maybe if we've got 2 cars, we set out one north, one west, and basically just go in the shops, put our records on the counter, say, listen to this, how many do you want? That's it.
Bedroom musicians can survive without the backing of the mainstream organisations, but what about do-it-yourself television? Earlier this month we went to Brazil, a country where nearly half the population can't read or write.